and welcome to the late night on one side, other side of the coast, early morning. Healthcare sucks! And right now, we're going to do part 2 to start with. The machine thing. We've already talked about the machines, robots taking over, and etc. Seems like these were all ready to go. Let's check it out. Medicine, a pharmaceutical company, is using robots to assist and boost productivity of traditional Chinese medicines. 11 robotic detection machines and 448 intelligent induction cookers have replaced the humans. Basically, that replaced almost 500 people, guys. Wow. The automated service provides a non-stop service. So you got like a couple workers, and then you got all the rest of these guys. 500 jobs just took over. It looked to me like they were ready to go with that, doesn't it, guys? Alrighty. Well, next we have an interesting thing that came upon. Where is it? Here we go. This is an interesting story, guys, about some crossed up lines.
Out of the state.
And we're now learning communication from the federal government to state officials has been flawed, especially when Honolulu's airport was named as one of the locations nationwide to screen those who recently traveled to China.
Max Rodriguez with our top story tonight. Max?
Well, if you're in Hawaii, this is not good, guys. They're just bringing people back. Some of these people are not wearing masks. Not it matters. Like in some cases, I guess they say. But still, all of a sudden, off the cuff, here's like all these people coming to your airport. Bam.
It was a surprise, to say the least, for airport officials to learn they would see travelers from China funneled into the airport amid a global outbreak. When the CDC announced the Daniel K. Inouye International Airport would be one of the 7 to screen travelers for the coronavirus to the rest of the world, it was also the first time state officials heard of it.
I'm acting kind of calm right now, right, talking about it. But when I heard that on the news conference, I almost leaped out of my chair, and I mean, immediately was like, that is very big, obviously, right? And so that's why, I mean, I immediately went to go and just make sure, did we know about this? And what does this mean?
What it meant was jumping into action, and quick, sharing the news with the rest of airport and transportation officials of the moves the federal agency had already started.
Immediately after, there was a meeting with the airport leadership on all islands. We started to discuss what this meant, implications, and then started to get on the phone with a lot of various agencies on all levels to start that coordination.
2 days after being made aware, Honolulu's airport began screening those who had traveled to China. Although airport staff did not have to start from zero, infrastructure was already in place.
We already were one of the 20 airports in the country that had a permanent full-time CDC quarantine station at the airport. So there's already federal staff here that were already trained and already looking for infectious diseases.
Sakahara says it would be helpful to know ahead of time of decisions amid an international outbreak. Senator Schatz, on the other hand, criticizes the faulty communication.
We have since gotten our arms around this problem, but it was pretty disorganized in terms of the federal response.
Sakahara says they continue to screen travelers, but that number has now dwindled as only U.S. citizens.
Yeah, you're going to hear about that on the news. It's going to be Mr. T's fault somehow. I guarantee you guys. You watch for this one. And, you know, the head honcho over there at Hawaii is not, she's going to be squawking. It's going to be bad, guys. Anyway, it was kind of like not funny, but actually almost humorous. Serious point. Here we go. They're bringing people. Bam, 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 bam. Yeah, I didn't see them check them one person. Did you? They're already clear. There is no virus. Wait. There is no Wuhan. There is no Wuhan 19. Wuhan 19 does not exist. Everything's okay now. It's okay now. It's all gone. They'd like us to think it. That's what the WHO is telling us. All right, let's go to what I was working on earlier, part 2. Hey, that's me. I pushed the wrong button, man. That was a major mistake. How did I make a mistake like that? We could watch me for a minute. Me watching me.
Prisoners, they really are. They can't get enough food. They're locking down certain towns and cities. Roads are already blocked off. They will, and they have orders to, to kill if they don't comply. So what we see here is China's solution to a type of quarantine, but I hope that people are paying attention to those steps. Because if they don't think that every country is going to take this seriously, should it continue, I'll say it again, within a 90-day period, that's about 3 months, it is a projection. If nothing changes, there's projection that 6% of the population of the world can be affected. And chances are, probably quadruple that number is infected now. It's just not known yet. And these are the ones that will check into the hospital. But what about those who won't check into the hospital? Those who are slipping between the seams, right? You got to remember, 80,000 people a year die from the flu. Here in America.
I know that.
So this virus is much worse than the flu.
Yeah.
But here's my point, though, Pastor Paul. They're not going to inform the public of any of the real numbers, because that would cause the imagination of the average individual to go haywire, and that will cause unnecessary panic. So what they have to do is they have to get things into position first before they ever announce anything true. So we will see procedures before we hear an official number or any official number of the truth. And my point is this: when anything like this happens in the world, and it's about the cost of lives, you're not going to hear the truth of it. You're not going to get the news you need to get. And it is very important that people be educated themselves as to how certain procedures are run, right? It's a natural fact. They're not going to give anybody the real numbers, because the populace will panic, and that will be bad for everybody.
If the real numbers, Mike, was 50 times more than what we're hearing, let's just say, and that's a real possibility, and it could even be more, then you're right. People would begin a massive panic. When you say the virus could affect 60% of the population of the earth, I think that's about what the Asian population is on the earth. There's a lot of rumors out there, Mike, so I'm going to ask you, is it that it's mainly just affecting the Asian population, or is it prone to affect the Asian people more, or is it just because it started in China?
I would say it's because it began in proximity or in China. It was locked down to that province that everybody knows of. But remember, there were some cases in India at the exact same time that it happened in China. So as far as its origin being in China, I'm telling you now, I don't believe that. And because there were some cases in India also of the exact same strain. So there's an issue here, and as far as what the motive is, well, that will be easy to figure out in time. But this virus situation it's a spreading. It's a very critical situation. And until the numbers reach a certain specific point to where people can relate to it, in other words, people see it in their hometowns, they're going to be passive about this virus. But I'd recommend that people understand and just see how they are enacting policy as this virus continues to spread.
You know, Mike, we send out prayer cloths and healing blankets to people all over the world for free to help people that are sick. And we've never seen so many requests for people with lung cancer and with different cancers. And we're also finding out a lot of people, we got pneumonia, a lot of pneumonias right now. And so maybe I could just say this real quickly. Some of you that are here watching tonight, if you we want to lift a special offering tonight. If you give a special offering, you can help us so that when we do send out these blankets and prayer cloths and different.
Yeah, it sounds like there we are at the number again, 60% possibly if it continues the way it is in 3 months. That's a lot of people. I'm going to jump ahead a little bit.
Things, we're able to get it to the people as quickly as possible.
This is so that parents don't try to get their children and then go relocate somewhere else, because they know exactly what a parent will do, right?
Mike, do you? So in other words, do you see this? They start scanning in school. They find several children that have the fever, have the coronavirus. All of a sudden, school's on quarantine. Kids are put on buses and shipped to quarantine locations without parents' approval, and you're expecting to see some kind of panic. Can I ask you a question? Is this thing airborne now? I'm hearing that it's now can be transferred by sneezing or coughing. What is your take on that?
Well, to date, the strain is so volatile to mutations that if a strain, if it were airborne, then we have a worst case scenario, because you're still going to have a strain that's not airborne, right? You're going to have a strain that could be airborne. If that is the case, now you're dealing with two, and they could potentially mutate beyond that point. If you're looking at...
So what he said is it's so volatile. Oh boy, I'm good with that word, huh? So in other words, it will spread even more so. The thing that he was talking about is they're going to start looking and checking schools. And if your kid's in school and they check them and find them, you might not even get a call. They might just put them into some kind of containment situation and then call you later. That's upsetting, guys. That's people are going to lose it. I know I'm not happy about it. I know you're not happy. I homeschool my last kid. My last kid's got some problems. We'll talk about it someday. But I homeschooled him, and I would never deal with the school system anymore anyway, with some of the evil things they teach our kids in schools. Yeah. And, you know, I'll go into that someday with you, but not today. But as you're hearing, there's a lot of things we're not hearing about. The other suggestion was, I think we all know about the Walmart camps that are already set up, the empty Walmarts and the fences around those back east. You guys back east already know. You've seen them. Not good. I mean, not good. When they start putting U.S. citizens in those things, yeah, people are, again, they're going to lose it. So here we are back to, that's part of why he's saying, and I'm saying to you guys, they're not telling us because they're afraid of panic. You know what? If we know we can deal with it, if we know we can make the decision to pull our kids out of school and homeschool. Oh, by the way, most states, if you want to homeschool, call up and check into it. It's fairly simple. You sign up with a thing. They do tests like once a year, once every other year. You just get set up to do the homeschooling thing. I know most, because they're robbing us and we're all slaves, the income system is making two people work nowadays to pay for their stuff. However, in this kind of situation, it's up to you guys to look at. But if things get worse, one parent may consider staying home to start getting the ball towards this. We're ready. I'm hoping that it doesn't come all at once. If we are looking at this 3-month window down the road, that will give us a little bit of time. But I would monitor and check this. I'm going to monitor this and check it for you guys every day. Or every other day at the worst scenario, if I have a day I can't get to it. So if you like my show, tune in. Please subscribe. Tell your friends, have them subscribe. Like is up to you. If you like it, like. If you don't, I understand. Some people don't. You know, that's called freedom. One of our freedoms, my friends. We'll see what's coming up next.
A virus that has split like this, mutated twice. That's the worst case scenario, because that actually means it's not going to stop at 2 mutations. Right? Normally when a virus reaches a certain point, it's pretty controllable because it has a type predicted behavior. But if it's mutated and it's airborne, plus you have the other strain going and it mutates, because as far as there is talk about a secondary mutation in this virus, not that it's airborne, but it's become resistant to a few things a little too fast. Of course, they're doing their best to hammer this thing down and to come up with something, antibiotic or something, to combat this thing with. But just in case they don't, which is a real possibility, they're going to have to go to the extremes to keep everybody controlled, keep movements controlled, and it's going to look ugly, right? It won't. They're not going to do it to be mean or something, right? That's just a way to assure that this virus doesn't spread beyond a containment point, because that's what happened in China. They downplayed their own numbers, and then they started up the incineration places. So, yeah, not a good thing.
Folks, we got Mike from around the world with us tonight. Mike from around the world, giving us good information, honest information, and he's been telling us these days were coming. All of the things, including the heavens are shaking, the binary system, the effects of the extreme straight line winds. We just seen that happen, hitting England, Scotland, Northern Ireland. They just went through it. These bomb genesis that hit Alaska, Newfoundland, and Canada. We cover all this stuff. And we had a meteorite hitting India today. The heavens are definitely shaking out there. Mike, we'll come back to coronavirus in a minute, because again, we got over 4,300 people here right now. Mike, I'm going to ask you a question. Now we've got to talk about the waves of energy. There seems to be a pulling apart. There's fire coming out of large cracks in the ground in Russia, China, and now this past week, Ecuador. Can you help us understand, is this part of the core heating up? Is this the gravitational pull on our planet by Nibiru or Planet X or the binary system?
Well, in the cycle, radiation sucked into the planet goes directly inside of the, that radiation is sucked inside the planet, right? Part of its life cycle. It just so happens that the intake of radiation far outweighs the output, right? So the Earth is overheating from the inside out. Gamma emissions are also coming from inside the planet, which is not a good thing. Certain neutrino detectors are also being disrupted because inside of the core is so active that you're having particle mutations inside the planet, meaning particles are taking up new behaviors, kind of like hyper or active behaviors, causing interference and all sorts of things. So we certainly have a magma problem due to all the energy being taken into the Earth, and that's going to continue with this magma issue. We have a magma issue. The more the Earth heats up on the inside, the more rock that's melted, the more it's going to expand from the inside out. And so that lava has to have points where it can escape. Remember that one day we were talking and I said we need a lot of eruptions to stop, to kind of equalize the pressure? Well, we haven't had them. And so all these new cracks and fault lines and everything else is simply the Earth trying to relieve itself. It's like an eggshell. And if you overboil an egg, the eggshell is going to crack in many different places. The Earth is doing the same thing. And as external forces continue to feed radiation.
And again, you're welcome to go back and check out Michael, Council of Time. On his end, he's done shows with Paul, and he does shows on his own. He's been doing them for years. And this is Pastor Paul in Connection. Also, why we're on this subject, this is the freedom of speech, free News Act. We take in information, share information, not for profit, for free, to save our brothers and sisters. So what he's talking about is there's other rays that are coming in, and the radiation goes and gets sucked into the earth and is heating the earth up. Is the reason there's more quakes and more things going on. And there's these deep rays coming from deep space. I don't know if you guys have been keeping up on that. It's something else we do here at Healthcare is earthquakes and keeping track of what's out there and what's coming. There's asteroids and all kinds of stuff. But back on this point, so the rays come in. It's kind of hard to hear them sometimes. They come in and they heat up the earth, and then the earth has to, let the heat out. And there's a lot more coming in right now, which eventually we're due for what we call the Cascadia. This could be leading definitely up to the Cascadia effect, which is going to be an 8 or a 9 on the West Coast eventually, if not sooner. We just don't know. And so the theory is if there's a lot more cracks and a lot more of letting the heat out, then we might have smaller earthquakes, which is kind of what we've been seeing. Most of them have been kind of small, and even the large ones haven't been that devastating, if you notice. We pretty much so dodged the bullet. But that only goes on for so long, guys.
Into our solar system, our planet's going to continue to suck that radiation up, and it's going to convert that, will be translated into heat energy, and then of course it's going to have to find some type of ventilation or escape. In our case, because the volcanoes they're really starting to peak. Activity and pressure is peaking, which means multiple eruptions are on the way, but the ground is actually cracking in places all over the place. Certainly under the sea. Now it's being seen on land. It's being seen in Africa. It's being seen in so many different parts of the earth that it's almost undeniable that this earth is swelling and reshaping. Don't be surprised if the earth is not a perfect sphere, right? So the more pressure we have and the more inertia takes effect on the outer rim of our planet, it's going to be misshapen. And it's also going to be pulled to one side here soon as external forces begin to attract more and more.
It's kind of funny, huh?
Destabilize the sun's gravitational pull on our planet, right? Until we reach a point where it looks like we're thrown out of orbit.
Is that from the binary system? I mean, you're saying it's going to pull to one side. Is that happening already? Is that why the poles are shifting?
Well, when you're dealing with satellite data and you're dealing with positioning, because somebody has to adjust that. Air Force Command does that. Various other agencies, they have command and control over the position of these satellites in space. Well, when you have to adjust for every satellite, when it orbits around and hits a certain spot, you have to do adjustment burns, which is not a good thing. Something is wrong. Something is causing a tug on one side of the planet or one specific point in space all the time, and this tug is going to increase more and more. So these minor adjustments in satellite orbits are really a telltale sign that something is affecting just about everything. So that small pull, that small gravitational anomaly will continue to increase and increase and increase. And
yeah, if you've never seen Pastor Paul, he's kind of hilarious. Yeah, it's what he does. So I guess we need to have a little bit of acting out with the seriousness. God works in mysterious ways, brothers and sisters. Back to the show.
Then we hit the point where our satellites just simply don't have enough fuel to do a bunch of burns. They don't. That could actually cause some more problems. So we're looking at something that's cascading, but yes, something external is most certainly causing an increased gravitational pull in one specific point in the sky.
Folks, Mike Around the World's with us from Mike Around the World, of course. Mike, we're doing this conference called Mega Quake 2020, and we're going to be doing it in Indianapolis, Indiana. We've got a lot of different speakers coming in.
So with that kind of catches us up on a little bit more of what's going on. Part 2. This is kind of throwing a lot at you guys. I apologize if it seems like you're overwhelmed. But with what's coming, guys, we kind of need to have covering some bases now. So we can start watching not just the right, but the right, the left, and the all around. You know, all the way. Whoa, I'm doing a Pastor Paul, man. Just joking. But we do need to watch all the way around, 360 degrees. Because there's, in the midst of this WUHAN 19 coming at us, heaven forbid, you know, we could get quakes and other things. Another thing we haven't talked about in a day or two is HARP. If you don't know what that is, you might push it in, HARP. And it's real, guys. Weather control situations, stations. And look, there's not just one. There's one huge one in Antarctica, which is awfully strange. There's so many strange things that when you put the strange together, it just shows you that it's not accidental. And I don't believe in coincidences myself. It's my personal Troy's 2 cents worth. There is no such thing as coincidences, guys. So with the, you know, the HARP thing, there's a lot of them out there. We still got CERN. Look into those things. How many of those labs are? I found out the other day there's 2 CERN. They're not CERN facilities, but they're like them. Magnetic colliders, etc. Called Star Labs or Star something. 2 huge ones, and they're off the grid. You don't even hear about these things, guys. So with these things revving up and pulling and tugging at the earth, we've got this going on. We've got fracking going on. We've got all this going. I mean, there's so much. And then we got meteors coming in. I mean, when he just said, you know, the one hit over there, you know, and it was a pretty good sized chunk. So with that, I'm going to let you go. We'll call this part 2. Peace, love, and stay safe. I'll keep on it. Just something to let you guys think about, you know, write it down, you know, what you think you want to do. Again, you don't have to believe me or like me or, you know, I show you a lot of proof that comes with. We don't do a lot of the speaking ones like this because I like to show you pictures. Because, you know, eye of the beholder and seeing is like believing to a point. But we must all have faith. That's the other side of the coin. So stay safe. Like I've recommended all along, if you can afford it, buy some supplies. We'll be going through that. We've got some plans to do live stream coming up. We're going to do some movies, some video games that tie right into these things. It's exactly what's going on. And with that, remember, healthcare sucks! Over and out. Take care, my friends. And to the military, thank you guys for serving and keeping us safe, brothers. Good night. Or good morning, depending where you're at.